Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hopefully, we're sounding good. We're looking good. We're back to the old the Yeti mic. For those of you guys that haven't seen the other mic, well, it died. We did get it for the colorful lights. And speaking of which, that's why I'm not wearing the black polo is because I got the daddy daughter dance. Usually, I am going live a couple hours, actually 1 hour from now. Actually, no, I'm usually going live in about 20 minutes. Anyway, that's where my day's been. The daddy daughter dance, it came up from right now. But this morning, jeez, let's just talk about stocks. Let's not worry about anything else. Anyway, typically on Thursday, I will break down the dollar, the Russell, the Nasdaq, the S&P. With the dollar, we'll break down Bitcoin and gold as well. Today, I'm going to break down DoorDash, Roku, and DraftKings. They all had earnings today. You guys saw them live earlier with Brad as well. Especially if you're on the right now, it's still Power Zone trading, but the logo still says Own the Chaos. I'm simulcasting on both channels, but Brad was a little shocked earlier. He showed you guys an AI video, and he was actually shocked by that. Come on, Brad, get it in gear. Get it in gear. Brad and I, we do say different stuff sometimes, but if you guys, I will say this. All jokes aside, because we're going to talk about some more things when Roku comes out. When we talk about Roku. Anyway, the whole AI stuff on my other channel, on this channel, if you're watching it, I'm on both at least. Don Franz Show has the stock stuff, but I'm starting to do a lot more AI stuff on there. Interviewing people in the tech space. I'm going to have more people on where I'm going to start showing off the individual tools. So not just how to use ChatGPT, that's coming up, but how to do the videos, how to draw, how to make the images. The image in the thumbnail is the what AI thinks is a cartoon version of me. Anyway, so if you want to check more stuff out about the AI or just even see what's coming, because a lot of people, the reason I started talking about that is because a lot of people, they're just sitting with their head in the sand like an ostrich. They have no idea, or they just not in this lifetime. Brad thought it was going to happen later this decade, later in the next 5 years. That video stuff already here. The whole background music he was talking about already here. There's just a lot of people that just don't know. Does it help any to thumbs up on both channels? It actually does help on just the thumbs up in general. If you guys are if we're talking about YouTube, any interaction helps out. So comments, whether they're good or bad, even the haters, they do help us out. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Sharing helps out a lot. I don't know why there's an analytic for Twitter and Facebook, so we know if you share it to that. But sharing does help. But anyway, let's rock and roll. As far as the dollar goes, had a little bit of a down day. And if you guys are new to these zones, purple is a weekly zone. I am short the dollar. This dotted line right here is just a resistance level. Like if we get above this, we're probably headed up to this zone. Because we'd actually close just above this. Now, getting outside the zone, no big deal. These zones, think of them as areas of attention where institutions, where banks might lie and have orders. It's where that main game of tug of war comes into place. We're going to talk about that later when we break down Roku. And if Brad says head scratcher one more time on an earnings play, who's with me on that? How many times you guys, who's counted Brad say head scratcher? I'm going to buy him one. So here you go. Start scratching your head. This is a head scratcher, not those earnings plays. Anyway, what I was talking about here is if we get above this, okay, now we're not. It's not a fake out. We've had some outliers over here, so be it. Came back down. Ultimately, we're still in this zone. We're still kind of trending up. So I'm looking for the dollar to actually reject right here. That AI image is a little intense. It's amazing, isn't it? Shocked face. It's the one thing I'm excited for about AI is it does like the shocked face for me. I can do like the images, because I can't do that, guys. I'm broken. I look weird. Anyway, as far as the dollar selling off, Bitcoin. Oh, we are right here. We're on the daily chart right now. A little bit of a nothing day, a little bit of back and forth. It's pushing. And I got to say, guys, this is the zone I'm worried about, focused on, everything about. If we get above 50, when we are closer to 100K than we are to zero, I think the hype comes back. Now, you guys might think the hype is here right now. No, that's nothing. People are just kind of talking about it. Remember Bitcoin back, was it 2017 when it first went to 17 grand? When it first went to 68,000? Like, things are going to get that weird again. So this should be a pretty significant level to break. And if we're going to draw that same dotted line I was just talking about, let's make this yellow. Let's make it dashed. There we go. Same thing. right here. We here's where we rejected multiple times before. We get above this. It might be time to party. He said, I'm late, but that mic sounds awesome. Nice. Good. I put it on the arm so it's a little bit closer to me. I'm hoping I could get rid of some of the background noise. You guys know I have 3 little ones. They're 3 girls. They're called the oracles inside the stock group because they're just never wrong. But man, dude, they like to just do. They'll listen to me until I'm working. They're like, yeah, he's gone. Let's jump off of things. Anyway, shout out to all the dads out there. Okay, the Russell. Now, the Russell's been largely very horizontal, just this box right here. We got a little bit outside, no big deal. We came back down, but we're already testing it again. This right now, guys, looks like just a giant bull flag. If we were going to reject and go short, we probably should have broke this zone. We should have been heading down. We should have been talking about lower lows and lower highs. So we get the reversal right here. We make our low. Here's our lower high. We're looking for the lower low, and we do not get it. That was your first sign. This is probably about to do some, weird stuff like this. And I gotta say, if you're in my stock group, then you guys know I've been hesitant. If you're in any of that stuff, like the Patreon, you're following like my plays. Then I've been really hesitant. I've done a lot of option selling, not a lot of directional plays, because this just feels like the 2021 market, and I don't want to say I don't like it, but it makes for a very different environment. I'll put it that way. And it's going to be one of those things and I know a lot of people think the stock market's high. Maybe you should short it. That does sound crazy. But be careful in this market. And until that trend does turn around, the trend is just up. The other ones are up way more than the Russell. Fun fact about the Russell right here. The Russell 2000 is up 34 points on the year. SMCI, which I know you guys are talking about, accounts for 26 points of that. In other words, 1,956 stocks have added a grand total of 8 points to the index. So, is this math weird? There's 2,000 stocks in the Russell. I don't know. Anyways, math's weird. But anyway, how crazy is that? SMCI. I just need to stop looking at it because it just keeps going. Paris says, "Do you see the cup and handle?" I can tell you're on the Chaos YouTube channel right now, not mine, right? Is this your sippy cup or is this your sippy cup? Don't let me hurt your feelings, guys. I do joke around a lot. If you're going to talk to me about a pattern you learned when you were a toddler, I do call it a sippy cup or a triangle. Triangle is actually all right. I joke around about that, but are you talking about this arching right here? I see this, and if I was bearish, would not like this at all. The fact that it broke up these last couple of days, tells me we're getting ready to rock and roll. I care more about buyers and sellers. So you'll hear me talk about these zones, and they're like areas of attention where the buyers sellers actually meet. Most people think this is incredibly bullish. There's a lot of buyers, when in fact moves up like this is not a lot of buyers. It's a lack of sellers, that actually is the same, causes the same move, but there's a very big difference. But when you run into this, that's when you run to that opposing force, and then we play that game of tug of war or Red Rover. I don't know if we can call it Red Rover anymore because there's just never any red candles. But anyway, the fact that we hit this, we sold off. We found all the sellers here. We sold off, and we're about to test it again. Eventually, you run out of sellers, and you get that push up. And as of right now, we're still kind of in this horizontal channel, but this is very characteristic of the Russell. It likes to go sideways, make its move, and then sideways again. I would be maybe tomorrow we take profit and sells off. Big deal. We come back down to here. That would just be your dip buy in a daily trend still up. As far as the expected moves, we are right at it right now. So looks like the fireworks are probably done for the week. There's a small chance we break above this. There's some delta hedging involved, and it pushes IWM to 210. If you guys are not familiar with what I just said, make sure you watch the Sunday videos where we draw these lines. These are not support and resistance levels, but you might often confuse it with that. Typically, we get outside, they rein it back in. Spies bullish or bearish tomorrow? Well, we're almost there. We're at the Russell. So the Russell right now, we had the reversal candle, right? This is your daily trend. Daily trend as far as the physical candle had broke the previous days. Now we are talking a daily trend is down. We had a green bounce. That daily trend, I know the letters. Hang on, let's get the crap out of the way. Where's this at? All right. So even though it had a green candle, we bounced right out of that magic yellow box. That daily trend still down. And I talked about today being, are we going to get above or below? And this is why I did the things I did today in the account that everyone follows, right? I talked about this inside the group last night. So if you're on the Patreon, you have access to all the plays. I screenshot it and post it in real time. But if you're in my stock group, then I talk about the moves I'm going to make the next day. All before. And I said I'm specifically waiting until Thursday because I want to, first of all, I thought we were going to pull back. And then I wanted to see if we continued down. Was that the dip buy for puts, if you will? Everyone gets back in short. Or is that the dip buy overall? We're going to continue to push back up. And while the physical candle trend was down right here, the overall pattern, I guess, higher highs, higher lows, was up. And it was just a perfect dip buy right there. So it does look like we're just turning and burning until we well, and just kidding, we're at all-time highs. Let's just get picky here. Let's talk about we know nothing. Winnie the Pooh is hanging out right up here. Winnie the Pooh and all the sellers for now hanging out right here. Get above that, then there's not much to talk about. The trend continues, so on and so forth. And just because it's at all-time highs, everyone says like crashes happen at all-time highs. Like, well, you don't say. There's a lot of things that happen at all-time highs. And if we're just trending up, we're just going to get all-time highs every day. Get used to it. We have a couple of pullbacks, then we're right back to all-time highs. Don't get too carried away, and I had to short it at all-time highs. I am a knife catcher at heart as well. But when the trend is up, the worst thing you can do is buy the peak. How long is it going to just have just green candles for days, and then you're like, well, maybe now I'll get in long. When does DraftKings report? I saw it earlier. I thought DraftKings did report, but then there was also a lot of people saying they're not going to report. I know tomorrow's the earnings call. I don't know if the numbers were out. I thought Brad went over that. We'll see when we get to it. All right. So as far as the NASDAQ goes, QQQ, right? So we got outside the expected move, reined it right back in. Again, I think the fireworks are probably done for the week. Plenty of wiggle room to move around anywhere. We got, is it PPI tomorrow? We got some letters tomorrow. Nice excuse to move the market. Let's see. As far as the S&P goes, again, same story. We had the daily trend break. Ultimately, we bounced right out of that zone. Nice little trend play right there. And then again, today was the deciding factor. I was going to sell a lot of cash secured puts. But when I saw this push up today, that's why you guys, if you guys follow the account, we started the account from zero. We put in $150, started growing it. And it's been like one play a week. You guys know that. Hey, here's some money. I'm going to buy this stock. It's been Palantir and then SoFi. And then today you guys probably got 4 alerts, 4 trades. And it's because I was waiting. So we had the capital. We touched a little bit of margin. And by we, I mean I. It's not a call out service. It's just what I do with my money. And that's it. You can agree with it or not. If you agree, you'll probably have the same results I did. But anyway, once I saw it pushing up, I was like, all right, I'm going to buy all the shares. I'm going to sell calls against it. So if tomorrow pulls back, we're good. We're going to roll everything. Everything's in the right at the money anyway, so we'll likely be rolling if you're following that. But how exciting. Got some alerts today, huh? A little more than one. Now we got some money. The more capital you get in that account, the more moves you can make. So we finally unlocked a little bit of breathing room. As far as the S&P goes, though, still just trending up. Same thing as the NASDAQ. We got outside the expected move, reined it right back in. Plenty of move to move up. I would actually look tomorrow for a pre-market move, and then we just give that away. So tomorrow pre-market, we're down. I'd probably look for the dip buy. If it gaps up, I would look for a gap and crap, and that would probably be it. Have you done some reevaluating on your JPY short? It's US dollar Japanese yen short. I'm actually long the Japanese yen. No, I haven't. I'm going to be in that for a while. That's not a day-to-day or intraday thing. Japanese yen that's been in the crap for decades. They're trying to raise rates and come out of it. We're trying to bring the dollar down, so it's a perfect mixture. We'll be rocking and rolling on that one. All right, as far as the first earnings, let's talk about DoorDash. Is in send it mode, right? No, just kidding. So good old fashioned volleyball spike. Now, I'm a trader, so when I see stuff like this, we call it a volleyball spike, right? Somebody wants cheap puts. So they send it up that day. You can call it a tinfoil hat, call whatever you want. They sent it up that day and then full send down. I just don't trust people. I trust greed more than I trust anyone else, and that tells me someone wanted cheap puts. Surely someone knew about that. Can't be proven, but there's been a lot of awkward coincidences with the way I trade. As far as zoning this thing out goes, we've had a pretty decent. If I'm going to zone this thing out, so it's going to be right there. We did bounce right here. So I'm looking for explosive moves, and we got above it, bounced, ultimately held there. I would probably put a speed bump zone right here, and that's a blue zone. So that's a smaller zone. Maybe if I was managing it intraday stuff, watch reversal could be a continuation. More than likely, I like the yellow stuff. And then we got a full-blown zone right there. Hang on, that is white. If you don't see this filled in with a yellow box, it's the same thing. But just so you guys know, I make it a little bit easier for you. Yellow, the first color the brain recognizes. Try to make it easy for everybody to figure out what I'm looking at. I don't care about anything in between. I care about these areas right here. Let's see. As far as peaks go, let's get to the daily. Could DraftKings be out of the red by morning, you think? I don't know how long you've been in the market, but yes, there's been a lot of times. And if you've been on this channel, then you've watched Brad say something, and then later on, it's already turned. So we got to watch. I'm hurrying. Oh, we got to get rolling. Hang on, we got to watch this. Oh, I do got to get going. And then we got to do right there. So yeah, DraftKings could be. I ultimately held that. Played the pin back and forth game right here. Jumped up, found some sellers. Right now we're looking for buyers. Honestly, if it breaks this though, if it breaks the 111 mark, I would think it's probably headed to that 102 mark. Brad said short Palantir. Got to give Brad a break. He's not a trader. I am. Roku. So if you watch this live, you watch it sell off, try to hold here, and then the next set of sellers came in and just jammed it right into that zone. Ultimately, it held. This was a head scratcher for Brad because it beat on earnings all the way around, and it beat on guidance. They raised guidance. They raised everything. Guidance usually does move things. That's the excuse. That's what keeps things rolling. Your brains would pop and fall out of your ears if you found out the stock market actually moves for money, and that's just there's a going excuse that moves things, and not really because of other things. The stock market is literally created to just move money around, play hungry hippos, and take your money, the other bank's money. They actually don't care about you as much as you think they do. They care more about other institutions. Either way, you know why that red candle popped up? Because the sell orders. They jumped up, found a seller, started filling. Some buyers tried to hold here, but the seller was still too big. Brought it down here. This is that game of tug of war. If we get down here to the, you had to watch that one live because it did hold up there. I'm not crazy. Yeah. See, we tried and then we came back down, held this. As far as Roku goes, a lot of you guys are thinking that's bullish because it beat on all the metrics. They raised guidance. You could probably look for a higher low. I would look to catch this knife. Ultimately, I would have a stop. I'd put my stop at 71.35. If it breaks that, I gotta call it. I'd be interested in this down here if it got any further. Roku is innovative. Yeah. Yeah, you can take that with Kathy. The only thing Roku is innovating right now is how to be red while guidance is green. Super innovative. Innovative AF. All right, last but not least, DraftKings. All right, so not last but not least, we got to cover a couple more, actually. DraftKings sold off, bounced. I thought this was pushing up for a little bit. No, just dancing around. So anyone who bought calls and puts is going to lose tomorrow. That'll just get burned away. I like DraftKings. Brad's always been a fan of Penn. I've always been a fan of DraftKings. And I do like that because who's heard of Penn outside of Brad? Do you guys actually know who Penn National is? I know who DraftKings is. I don't care what they spend on advertising. That's why you do it. I wasn't a fan of the Elon approach of don't pay for advertising. Everything else is good. I actually am a fan of this one. If I was going to catch this knife, my stop would have to be 38.45. If it breaks that, I think that trend up might be broken. Or actually, if it breaks down here, I would think your uptrend's broken. But I would go long, stop out here. If it got to here, reevaluate it, maybe take one more. But no way I would just put my stop way down here. Penn sells fishing reels. Do they really? Nice move up on that, though. What is Penn up to? Nothing. All right, let's check out coin real quick. Brad said, this is a huge zone. When you do jump down into the 5 minute, zones do get a lot bigger. Yellow, by the way, is daily 4 hour. And it looks like, all right, so like how Brad said, just blasted right through that zone. It didn't really do anything. It held up. Tried to go a little bit below, ultimately held, and then sent it a little bit. I would definitely watch out for this right here. Getting above that, we're probably going to push. Two people talk about the $200 mark, psychological level. I would be more worried about 205 to 210. I definitely wouldn't short this. Bitcoin's just been, if Bitcoin catches that momentum above the 50K mark, you're going to watch things like Coin, MSTR, and Mara. They're just getting warmed up. That was just the pullback. As far as Mara goes, I did sell the 28 strike put today for tomorrow's expiration. So hopefully, as long as we're above 28, we're good. That was just what I call free internet money. Again, guys, I don't make money off of YouTube. I make money off of trading, so I have an income bias, not a directional bias. So if anyone is watching on like the Own the Chaos and you're just not familiar with how I talk, I don't care about feelings, directions, whatever the excuse is. Don't care. It's a conversation piece. It'd be really boring just to say up or down because it's all the stock market really is. But as long as it makes money, let's make it happen. What was the other? I don't know why Apple was pushing. People were talking about that in the chat. Just bounced off that zone. Okay, so we got outside the expected move, reined it right back in. What was the other one that really went up? SMCI. What a ridiculous one. Who bought it here at this last zone, huh? Anybody? Oh, it broke above the zone. We should go long. Did you buy it at 548 and it's at 1,029? It's at 1,030. We're 10 cents away. What a ridiculous ticker. Let's check the really stupid indicator. It says it's up. We've been this overbought a couple times before. 3 in existence so far. As far as the weekly goes, never been this overbought. I'd be careful catching this knife and trying to buy puts. You are going to pay to play on that one. That is going to be a pricey one. You're probably going to get ran over. I can't even look at this because I want to sell calls. I want to buy puts. I do want to short this. I don't care what happens to a stock. It doesn't move like that. Glad I didn't get in front of that train. God, no kidding. Beamer, I did take a play on that, but that tagged out. Oh, wow, I made money on it. It tagged out on this move right here. Just to break that down if anybody is. So here's the alert. It went off, and then on this move up, I had my stop in the green, made a few bucks. I know a lot of people are talking about that. I don't think I'd be buying this knife right now. They did a partnership. They were going to partner with NVIDIA. That's what sent it right here. Thought we could see a new runner, but no, if it breaks, it looks like it's about to break that, and then I would not worry about it at all. You're going to be holding that bag for a while. Okay, Matt, last one, and then I really do have to go, guys. Super late. Applied Materials. Looks like they're doing well. Let me zone this out real quick. Is this all-time highs? Well, all-time highs. As much as we joke around and call the zones magic yellow boxes, turns out I'm actually not psychic. That's just a joke. So just to put that disclaimer out there, Winnie the Pooh shows up right there. It has to create the zone before I can. Gosh, all these are white. Has to create the zone before I can zone it out, right? The candles make it. So it's not that the zone is big. Like Brad said earlier, that zone was big on coin. He was on the 5-minute chart, so everything looks big when you zoom in. Huh? Guys, you know what I'm talking about? How many guys have zoomed in? Try to make it look, the angle. Anyway, if the zone is wide, it just means the volatility's there. That's all. Make the zones off the candles, not what you think. Don't think with your wallet. And I have to zone this out, and then we'll bring back the extended hours to see what that did. Gosh, I don't know. This thing's on a run. This just makes me feel like it's always cold out, Don. This really does. It's bringing back 2021 vibes. And I got to say, if we don't pull back or correct soon, then bring on 2021. Get your maracas. Let's go. Let's have a party. Let's just buy stocks. Let's all just have a reason. They'll go up. We'll pretend we're right. And then we'll make money. We'll just trail it until things sell off. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry, guys. I do have to get going. I wanted to come on live and just cover those 3 things. Those few things. Anyway, do me a huge solid. Hit the thumbs up button for me and subscribe. All the cool stuff. Do the things. And you guys will see me next week. Have a good one.